Hello, friends. Welcome to Heidi's Colorful Colorado. I'm your host, Heidi, a wife, mom of four, CU Regent, and the founder of Camp Bow Wow and the She Factor. With a passion for keeping the spirit of our state alive and well, I started this podcast to bring the people of Colorado together to celebrate the amazing state we call home. Come along on this journey with me as I travel across our old country roads in my vintage RV, interviewing folks that embody the true spirit of the Rocky Mountains. From the Front Range to the mile-high city to the wild west of southern Colorado, we'll celebrate the history, beauty, and Coloradans that make this place the colorful state it is. Each week, you'll meet people trailblazing the way for an even more colorful future for us all, making a huge difference along the way. Are you ready for a Rocky Mountain ride? Let's do this, Colorado. Hello, everyone. I am so excited today to have one of my favorite people at CU with us, Rick George, our athletic director. Rick has quite a story, not just at CU, but beforehand. You started out playing football at Illinois, correct?
Long time ago. They had face masks, though. So that was one good thing.
Okay, good. It protected you.
It did.
So that you could be really effective at CU down the road.
That's exactly right. That's what I was aspiring to do all those years.
So, Rick, you and I have been in the trenches at CU for about 4 years together since I was elected regent. And, you know, I so admire your leadership and what you've done here, especially around the student athletes. I mean, they are some of the biggest rock stars and the best role models for young people in the state of Colorado. And I know that's one of your passions. So let's start off talking about your athletes and why you love being here and influencing them.
Well, that's why I am here, is to be able to serve our student athletes. That's what we do every day. You know, I tell our staff all the time, if you can't be passionate about the young men and women that we have in our program, this probably isn't the place for you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because we've got incredible men and women in our department as athletes. They do an incredible job. They're achieving on the playing surface, but more importantly, they're achieving in the community and in the classroom. We just had our best GPA, term GPA and cumulative GPA in the fall. We matched the student body for the first time. And, we've had, 19 or so consecutive semesters over a 2.9 for all of our student athletes. So not only are they achieving on the playing surface that everybody reads about, but in the classroom and in the community, they do a great job from community service projects. They're just incredible young men and women, and they're why we come to work every day, and it's what gives us energy. And particularly during this pandemic, they've persevered. Mm-hmm. They've had an incredible amount of challenges with COVID, and we're going to play, we're not going to play, we're going to practice, we're not going to practice, different COVID things, losses of games. But through it all, they've kept their head above water. They've done a great job, and they inspire me every day.
Well, they inspire us too, and thank you. Thank you for your leadership there. Tell me a little bit about how it's going to go next year. Like, do you think things are going to be different? Are they going to open up? Are the athletes excited to actually, get things back to normal a little bit?
Yeah, well, look, we've got one team still competing right now, and so we want to get through that, and we've got a number of our student athletes that have qualified for NCAAs and some that have Olympic qualifying times, so we're really excited about that. It's our last sport. We just finished our semester, so we're happy about that. But as we look to the fall, we're going to look at it as business as usual. We're going to, start working out. Starting June 1, we'll have our first session of summer school. So we'll have a number of our student athletes, men's and women's basketball and football, that'll be on campus. That'll start preparing for the fall. And then we're going to prepare for the fall like, that we can have 100% capacity, but also knowing that it may not quite be that number. So, we'll figure that out as we go along, but there's a lot of things that we're doing. We've got a new game day app that'll be touchless that, will provide our fans an opportunity to distance themselves while they're at games. And I'm certain we'll still wear masks in some capacity, but, we'll see what the county and the state guidelines are, and we'll adhere to those like we have throughout this last 14 months.
Yeah, the athletes have done a really good job of that and tolerating it. And one of the other things that's really important to you is mental health. Talk a little bit about how you've been able to work with the athletes to keep their spirits up and get them through this tough time.
Look, it's been challenging. I'll say that to start. It's been really difficult for them. I know the visits that we've had with our psychological health performance department staff, they've gone up significantly over the past 14 months. we quickly pivoted to telehealth. We have a buff helpline that they can go to after hours if they're struggling, and our team has done a really good job down there. Dr. Rachel Walker leads that group for us. We collaborate a lot with our campus on things that we should be doing, and for the most part, they've done great, but it's required a lot of time and energy for our psychological health performance staff. We do a monthly newsletter to the student athletes every Monday. Thursday we have a session that they can do via Zoom that they can participate in that. And we call it Mental Lift Mondays. And, they've just put a lot of programs in place for our student athletes to be able to take part in to help them with some of the struggles that they're going through.
Well, I know that the performance of the football team, the basketball team, and many other of the programs kept everyone in Colorado's spirits up over the last year and a half. So tell us a little bit about the recruiting classes for football and basketball are amazing. I just heard some great things.
Yeah, Carl's done a great job with his class of recruits. And again, it's really difficult because they can't come onto this beautiful campus and see the mountains and all the things that we love about Colorado. They can't experience that. So for Carl to put together the class that he did, going to a bowl game was important. And then Tad in men's basketball had their best class in their history. It's currently ranked number 8th in the country.
Wow.
He's signed some really good student athletes that are great students, great athletes, and great people. And so we're excited about his class. J.R. Payne's done a tremendous job. All of our sports teams have. And starting June 1, we'll be able to have student athletes back on our campus, some high school student athletes. So that's going to be fun. And I told Tad with his best class, don't mess it up by meeting people. We did better when you weren't able to be in person with them.
Oh, no, that's not good.
I know, but I told him, keep playing golf and we'll keep getting these great recruits.
Whatever works.
That's right. Exactly.
So, Rick, you were living in other places and in Texas and with the PGA, and then you came back to Colorado. Tell me a little bit about your journey back to Colorado and why you love it here so much.
Yeah, I was here the first time with Bill McCartney, 87 to 91, and we had a lot of success then. And, I had a really great career, going to different places, being on the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, being the president of the Texas Rangers. That was great and a lot of fun. But when the chancellor called and talked about this job, for me to be able to really have an impact on young people again was important to me. I'm kind of at the late stages of my career. And so coming back 8 years ago has been great. Being around student athletes energizes me, and so it's been a lot of fun to be in this role and to be able to serve our student athletes every day.
Well, we sure are glad you're here, and I know that you have a couple other folks that are important that live around you. Your granddaughters are here with you today.
Yep.
Tell us what you're up to this morning or what we were talking about.
Well, I get my granddaughters every Monday morning. This is their remote day at school, so I get to be a math teacher, writing, reading. I can't solve some of the problems that my second grader has.
I'm with you.
Harper and Maddie. Harper's my 8-year-old second grade, and Maddie will be going into kindergarten. But two wonderful young ladies, and love being around them. They're just beautiful girls, and having them come in here to be able to experience athletics. And both my daughters, having been in this industry my whole life, and both of them are in athletics today. Being able to, like my oldest daughter Jenny was able to shoot baskets with Ann Meyer and Nancy Lieberman Klein when we were at Vanderbilt, and Christy was around all of this as they were growing up, and just to have that as part of their lives. I want that to be a part of my granddaughters' lives. And they come here every Monday. They love running this indoor track that we have right here, and
that's PE, right?
Right, and getting to know some of our student athletes has been really fun and special.
Yeah, we tried to get them on camera, and they said, absolutely not. No, thank you.
She said, no, thank you. Yeah,
no,
she was very polite.
She was very polite about it. So, Rick, what's one of the most Colorado things you've ever done?
I don't know that there's one particular thing that I've done, but, I did do a 14er, and that was a Colorado thing, and I can't even remember the mountain, but I did this before I came back to Colorado. When I was with the PGA Tour, we came here for a retreat, and we did a 14er, as part of our 3 or 4 day session to do team building, and that was probably the most Colorado thing that I've done, because I didn't realize how difficult it was to get up. But then to come down and the stress on your quads and everything else was a little bit different than a sea level guy. So that was probably the most Colorado thing that I've done.
What's your favorite golf course in Colorado?
I love playing at Boulder Country Club, but I do love Cherry Hills. That's my favorite golf course. I do like Castle Pines. There's a lot of great golf courses in this state, and I wished I was good enough to play well on them, but I don't get the time to do that. But I certainly enjoy being out on the course with other people.
How's our golf team doing at CU?
Our golf teams are doing great. As a matter of fact, we had an individual on both men and women's golf team that are competing in the NCAAs this week, I believe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, yeah, that's great. And they're terrific. And as I said, we still got our track team competing, and hopefully we'll bring back some titles.
All right, so this podcast is about Colorado and kind of the spirit of Colorado. And you talk to, or you help recruit athletes from all over the country to come here. How do you describe it here? Why would you convince an athlete from Seattle or New York to come to Colorado?
Well, the first
other than the obvious, right?
Well, the first thing is the obvious, right?
Yeah.
When you come over 36 and you come over that hill and you see the mountains and the Flatirons, I mean, that's a special, thing for people to see. And you can't understand the beauty of it until you come and visit it. But if you think of our creeks and our streams and our mountains and the hiking and all of those things, it's a very health conscious community, and I call the community the entire state. And that's something that we sell to. I mean, you can't get better food, from a farm to table than you can in Colorado.
Hey, I know a guy that cooks barbecue for the team.
Yeah, I do. I heard
he's
pretty good. His name's Jason something. But I've heard he does a really good job with barbecue.
I think that's single-handedly how we've gotten some recruits here, right?
Absolutely right. They love that barbecue. It's really important. But this is just such a great state, and it's so outdoorsy, and if people like to hike, and I live by Chautauqua, and I get to see students that come up there every weekend and hike and enjoy the outdoors. I mean, you can't find a better place to do outdoor recreation than you can here. If you like to cycle and if you like to fish, I mean, you can fly fish all over the state. I mean, you can just do amazing things, and it's all outdoors. And the other thing that I love about it is you can get 4 seasons in one day.
Yes.
And you
As
can't do that in
by
any
today.
other state, right?
No kidding. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Is there anything you'd like to say to inspire some future recruits, especially in Colorado, to be a CU buff someday, play sports here?
Well, you can't find a better place to combine education, outdoors, and athletics than you can at CU Boulder, and we play with the greatest backdrop in all of college athletics.
Go Buffs. That
Go
is
Buffs.
absolutely true.
Yes, it is.
Well, thanks, Rick. I'll let you get back to your granddaughters. That's very important. My 9-year-old twins hammer me on homework every night, and I have a hard time keeping up, so I can relate.
Thanks for having me, Heidi. I've enjoyed it.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you for joining us today on Heidi's Colorful Colorado. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And definitely follow me on Instagram to keep up with my latest adventures. In the meantime, happy trails from me, Heidi Ganahl.